3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Superflex Super Show proudly brings to you John Big Irish McGlynn.
Guys, the flip side of contagious gum disease is an infectious smile.
That's Brian Trade Addict Har. Another one, boys. And I am James the Brain, and this is the Superflex Super Show. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Tinderflex. That's right, everyone. Welcome in. We're doing our Tinderflex episode. I'm here with Brian Har and John McGlynn. Brian, John, how you guys doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. I love it. Love it. Love it being on the show.
I am so excited about Tinderflex. I can't even. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to contain myself this whole hour to hour and a half. I'm so excited.
Man, I'm glad to hear that because these are my favorite episodes to record. So let's before we get started, guys. I do want to let the listeners kind of know kind of the layout and what's going on here. So our Tinderflex episodes are set up kind of like Tinder. And if you have never used Tinder before, we're going to explain it. Basically, you get on there and you have to make one of the most superficial decisions of all time. You get a few pictures and you have to choose whether or not you would go on a date with this person. Swipe left and you're saying yes. You swipe right and you're saying no. And so we basically have set it up to where, well, we're not going to give you pictures. We're going to give you stats on fantasy football players. You can either pass. If both people pass to hear the next clue, then they'll get the next picture in this kind of thing that we're doing here. They would get the next picture. We have 3 pictures for each, 3 clues rather, for each fantasy player that they'll get to determine whether or not they want to swipe left, swipe right, or pass. So that's basically the format here. After the 3 stats, they're going to have to choose whether or not they want this player on their roster. Another superficial way of kind of looking at fantasy players in a little bit of a different form and a different manner. So that's how we're going to do things here on Tinderflex. So let's go ahead and start it out. Brian, we're going to start with you. We're going to throw it to your first player. Who is your first player? Well, don't tell us who, but tell us the first stat. Let's see the first picture, Brian, of the player that we are going to be, John and I are going to be swiping on here.
All right, guys. So we'll start with this one here. This player has a career 60% completion percentage.
All right, John, we're going to go to you first. We're going to go on our screen here, which no one else can see. It goes me, Brian, and then you, John McGlynn. So Brian's going to start. John, we're going to go to the right. You are going to be the first to act. So with that statistic, do you want to swipe left and say, hey, I don't want this player? Swipe right and say, hey, I want this player on my roster? Or do you want to pass to potentially hear another stat? John, we're having some trouble hearing you, bud.
I'm going to swipe left on this one to hear another stat. I'll swipe left.
Well, if you want to hear another stat, you got to pass.
I'll pass.
Swiping left, you'll pass. Okay. All right. Fair enough. You know what? I think you're going to get that opportunity. Instead of me taking this player right from under you, I'm going to pass here for some more information. So let's look at the next stat here.
All right. Next stat is that this player scored 12 collegiate touchdowns.
12 collegiate touchdowns. John, do you have enough to make?
Not my favorite stat in the world, so I'll pass on that too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass too. I think I'm going to hear one more here. We get our last picture for this player here. So, Brian, what's the next stat that we have?
The final stat is that this player has 3 seasons scoring double-digit touchdowns.
That is, I'll take a right on that. I'll take that player.
Okay, so you're going to roster this player. Do you have any guesses, John, on who it might be?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
No,
the completion percentage really threw me through a loop, and then the other stats kind of sound like a position player. So if they are a quarterback, they're not great. So I'm interested to hear, who is John getting on his roster here?
Yeah, so James, you kind of had the thought process right there with the completion percentage, and then the other two are sounding like positional player. This is a positional player, and John, I think you're going to be really happy with this guy. It's Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, wow. Okay, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Okay, so John starts out strong with Odell Beckham Jr. on his roster. So he shows up to his Tinder date and he's got, man, a 10. He's got a 10 right there. It's not OBJ. No offense, but I wouldn't declare OBJ a 10. That's just me. But you got a 10 sitting at the table. You're happy. All right, John, you're up next, man. Throw out some stats. Give us some pictures so we can make a decision on the next player.
All right. This player once had 60 carries, 40 receptions, and 15 kickoff returns in one season.
Okay. I mean, there's semi-multifaceted. I mean, kind of used in a few different phases, but doesn't really give me much of a picture of the capabilities of this person. So it's basically like, this is the Tinder version of like a shot where it's like totally zoomed out and you could see like a person on the ice or something, but it looks like a little dot, a speck. And you just can't, I mean, there's not enough there for you to make a decision on whether or not, you want to swipe on this one. So I'm going to pass, Brian. That's me saying I'm going to pass here.
Yeah. I'm also going to pass here. I have a couple players in mind that this could be, but I'm not confident enough to pull the trigger here. So I'm going to pass as well.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, guess number 2. His player's got 195 receptions and 10 touchdowns so far in his career.
Well, that's another one, man. That's rough too, because we don't know how long his career is, right? So like it's almost like someone telling you that they've like, you're on Tinder and a brief like thing on the bottom basically just tells you like, been working at the same job for 6 years, but we don't have a picture, so we don't know how old this person is. We don't even have a guess. So like, we don't know how impressive that is, right? So that's the tough part with this one. But man, if I pass again, I'm giving Brian a chance to steal this player. And if it's a good player, man, I don't know that I want to give him that opportunity. So I'm really up against it here. However, I'm going to take my chances that Brian's going to pass and I will have first crack after the next stat. So that's my thought process here. So I'm going to pass.
Oh, man. 195 receptions and 10 touchdowns. Oh, boy. James, I think it's your lucky day because I think I'm going to pass again just to hear another clue.
Okay. So, John, here we are. Last clue. We get the last picture. Let's see it here.
This player, along with 60 carries, 40 receptions, and 15 kickoff returns, and 195 receptions and 10 touchdowns, he is 28 years old, and he went to FSU.
Okay, so an FSU wide receiver here that is 27 years old. So he's been in the league for a little bit here. Boy, 10 touchdowns. It doesn't seem like a lot unless he got started really late. And I'm drawing a blank on the FSU wide receiver. The only one I can think of is my boy Auden Tate right now because I've got him on the brain after his touchdown grab last week. But anyhow, I don't know, man. I mean, the touchdown rate isn't great. 195 receptions, and he's 27 years old. You know what? I'm going to swipe left and say I don't want this player on my roster. So, Brian, now it's up to you. You swipe left, and John gets stuck with him. If you swipe right, he's all yours. I'm swiping left. It's between you two guys now. Brian, what are you going to do here?
Oh my gosh. Florida State.
28, not 27. He's 28 years old.
Man, I can't even. I'm drawing a blank as well on who the player might be. So 60. He had a year of 60, 40, and 15.
60 carries, 40 receptions, 15 kickoff returns, 195 receptions, and 10 touchdowns so far in his career. He's 28 years old, and he's from Florida State.
Okay. I might have a guess after all this is done.
So I'm thinking with 60 carries, he's a running back. You know what? I'm going to swipe left too here, John. You're going to get stuck with your own guy, so I hope you're happy with that.
That's all right. Let me know.
Go for it, John. Let us know. Who is it?
I get OBJ and Chris Thompson on the same team so far.
Ah, Chris Thompson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's one of those where, like, you get there and you go, yeah, this date's okay. I mean, there's some personality here, which is always nice, and you got some good, some good stats to look at, so that's good. And yeah, this isn't bad. That's okay. That's okay. You could do a lot worse on your roster, I think, and you could do probably a lot better. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. I never would have guessed Chris Thompson. I can tell you that now. So, really good, gentlemen. Really good start to this. I'm going to go ahead with a player here. I'm going to go ahead with the first set of stats. Brian, you'll be the first act. John, you will be second. This player has seen his touches increase each of the past 2 weeks.
I will pass for a little more info.
Yeah, that could be a lot of people. I'm going to pass.
Okay.
Swipe left.
You're gonna pass, right? Swiping left means you're out. So yeah, okay. You'll pass. Let's see. The second piece of information you get, put up a season high mark in yards and receptions this past week. So I'm not giving you guys stats for years. I'm giving you for the past couple weeks. This player put up a season high mark in yards and receptions this past week.
James, I think I know who this is.
I think so too.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm going to pass again, but I think I have an idea of who this is.
Okay. What about you, John?
How many people do I get to roster on my team? Because
there's no limit, man. You could take them all if you want. I
think this player is pretty young. I'm going to swipe right because if it is who I think it is.
Can I guess before
you can, but here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to share the third stat and then see if you guys can guess. So here is the third stat. Okay. This player is currently number 11 in scoring at his position in PPR scoring formats. So that's kind of what I got. Brian, go ahead. What's your guess here?
Is this Gerald Everett?
Ding, ding, ding. It is Gerald Everett. Wow. Very nice, Brian. Well done. Apparently mine are too easy. So Gerald Everett. So John gets Gerald Everett. So John has Odell Beckham Jr., Chris Thompson, and Gerald Everett rostered. What are your feelings on that, John?
I'm pretty happy with that. I'm an up-and-comer tight end on a passing team. I'll take that. Also with a pass catching running back. This is PPR format I'm in, man.
Yeah, it shows me, Brian, that you and I have to be more aggressive when we're doing this because he's aggressively just swiping right on these players and we just don't have a chance. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to be more aggressive if we want to roster some players here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, guys, before we move on, I do want to go ahead and let all our listeners know about our sponsor, and that is the FF Mercenaries. Look, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So stop wishing and start planning for your fantasy championship with the FF Mercenaries. Fantasy Football Mercenaries love it when a plan comes together, and this A-team of fantasy football minds is here to help you map out your path to fantasy glory. Whether you are looking for draft strategy during and throughout your draft dynasty roster consultations, in-season support, alternate scoring navigation, or DFS expertise, the Mercs are here to help you develop and execute the strategy that will help you destroy your league. So sign up now for your one-on-one consultation with a strategic specialist for your unique and specific needs. Just go visit ffmerks.com and use the promo code SUPERFLEXSHOW, all one word, for 10% off your first consultation. That promo code again is SUPERFLEXSHOW, all one word, and you can go to ffmerks, MERCS.com, where winning is the only option. All right, guys, we're on to our second player now, and John has all three of these. So, Brian, you get to start us off here with your second player. Let's get some stats going here. I really want to get, and I also, you know what I want, John? I really want some analysis from you on this, okay? Because you've been kind of shooting in the dark and getting these players, and it's been working out. But I want to hear your thought process a little bit more on this, because you're definitely you're going quick. So I want to hear your thought process a little bit more with these next set of players here, if you don't mind. So
Will do.
Brian, beautiful. Brian, go ahead with the next stat here.
All right, so this guy had 5 300+ yard passing games last season.
John, that's on to you, man.
I love the 300-yard plus passing games. I think that's almost the standard in leagues now because of passing. So it could be anybody. I'm not. I don't want to just dive into a first date with somebody who's just average. I'm trying to get a little more information on somebody if I'm going to go out, especially adding to my awesome roster already. I'm 300 yards passing is probably 3/4 of the league right now. So I'm gonna pass for right now.
Yeah, that's not bad. See, here's my problem, John, is if I pass here, you get to hear the next stat and kind of react first, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I have to let you react first. So it almost is pushing me to swipe on this player, but I don't know. I mean, last season, was a little bit ago. We've seen guys who had some success last year that are coming in this year and just struggling. And then we've seen the opposite. So it's tough for me to make a determination from last year's stats, right?
5 300-yard passing games is not that's not setting the bar in the NFL anymore. That's average.
Yeah. This is like you're on Tinder and you see a picture and it's from like 2 years ago and you're like, man, a lot can change in 2 years, so you don't know how serious to take that, right? So I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass for some more information here.
All right, second clue. This player accounted for 72 collegiate touchdowns.
All right, John.
College stats are sometimes tricky. I mean, look at a guy like Tim Tebow, who is pretty much the greatest player in.
Don't you disgrace Tim Tebow?
Yeah, I can't have that here. No.
Tim Tebow.
Shut that down right away.
Hey, looking for analysis. I got to say what I got to say here. There's guys in college that are the best thing that ever happened since sliced bread. And then they come to the NFL and they may have had 5 300-yard passing games, and then they got pulled week 6 because they completely laid an egg on the field after that. So, so far I'm passing again on this. I'm really not interested in the guy that has college production and only 5 300-yard passing games.
Boy, okay, so 72 touchdowns is, that's not bad. It's not, I don't know. It's okay. College touchdowns are tough to gauge by. You just don't know. Did he do it in 2 years starting? Well, that's pretty impressive. Then did he do it in 3, 4? Man.
I'm glad I
can
struck
answer
early.
a question for you if you like, or we can wait.
I tell you what. Okay. Here's the problem. The problem is that I think both of these stats were presented to make this player look good, and that's what's driving me nuts. That's what's getting me. Is that normally when that happens, like someone on Tinder is using their best pictures and they're using at angles and they hire professional photographers for their Tinder pictures, right? And normally that just means, man, you're getting yourself into some trouble here. So that's what bothers me. But if I don't swipe, I know John gets first crack at this guy, and that's the thing that's going to bother me, is that if I pass on this guy and John swipes right after hearing another stat and gets a superstar again, I'm going to be so upset that I didn't do this. So
I don't know. This sounds like a glamour shot to me. This is somebody who got all made up in makeup and all
yeah,
ready
that's
to go.
exactly what you would say if you wanted me to pass so you could hear another stat, buddy. I know about this. I know how this game is played.
I only got so many spots in my roster, so I don't know.
Trying to player block me, man. You got to stop that. All right, so I tell you what, I can't in good conscience swipe on this. I have to pass, and I'm gonna hate it, but I'm gonna pass.
All right, third stat or clue. This player has 99 career passing touchdowns in the National Football League.
Okay. John, it's on you.
99 career passing touchdowns. So they've probably been around for 4 years, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. I'm thinking maybe even either that's not much of a passing offense for a long time, or this guy's been pretty good for the duration of his early career so far. So I'm gonna pass one more time.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm swiping right. I'm gonna take the bait. This player is gonna be on my roster, and I'll just have to live with it. So don't even smile. I don't even want to. I already regret this. Who do I have?
James, you are now the proud owner of Jameis Winston.
Oh my goodness.
And I am so happy that you passed, John.
Take me back now.
I so badly wanted James to get this.
Of course you did. Of course you did, Brian.
I wouldn't be mad with James. I wouldn't be mad with Jameis. I like Jameis.
I know you wouldn't. You wouldn't be mad with Mariota either.
That's right. I got them both on most of my teams. That's
here.
Correct.
We might be making a trade. Is Chris Thompson available? Right, so that just happened. I'm gonna have to live with that. Jameis frickin' Winston is on my roster. Man, this date's been a nightmare. I can tell you right now. I've been shot down. Bread's been thrown my way at the dinner table. It's not going well. We're separate checks is what I'm going to propose next. So, John, you're up next, man. So let's get this bad taste out of my mouth. Throw some stats out there, buddy.
This guy set an SMU season record with 6 100-yard receiving games and became the first player in SMU history to record 3 600-yard receiving seasons.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I already know who this player is. And I want him, so I'm just gonna swipe right, and you can say the rest of your stats here, John or Brian. If you have a guess, you can go with that.
Well, there's 3 guys that pop into my mind. The 3 SMU receivers that I can think of. I just don't know which one it is yet. So I'd like to hear another clue, even though I'm not getting this player.
Played for 2 teams so far and has absorbed 559 receptions.
Yeah, I'd be happy getting this guy too, especially with how freakish he is coming back from insane injuries. So,
yeah, I know the next one I know you're going to get, Brian. Is the player's nickname was Easy Money, was part of the Young Money crew.
Yes, sir.
It was kind of rolled the dice just for you out there. So I knew
Young Money. Yep. Manny Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah.
Yep,
Nice.
and I'm happy getting Emmanuel Sanders at this point. I mean, the guy has proven me wrong around every turn, especially this year, man, because I really felt like this is the year he's going to see a drop off, and he just hasn't. He's been great, and that's really allowed fellow SMU wide receiver Cortland Sutton to really kind of shine. So, I'm happy. I'm happy getting him. I just couldn't pass because I figured Brian had it narrowed down to at least 2 or 3, and so I was concerned that if I passed, I wasn't going to get a chance on him. So I took him. I'm happy to have Emmanuel Sanders on my team. So
yeah, I own Deshaun Hamilton everywhere, not knowing that this guy was going to come back so fast and surprise the league. So it's Deshaun Hamilton's a guy who I really liked, but man, there's been some disturbing things happening there. Just lots of drops, some concentration and mental issues, lapses rather. So he'll be interesting to kind of monitor. All right, guys.
I got another one. Brian, you're first up to act here. John, you'll be second. This player is averaging 1.4 yards per carry more than he did last season.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good stat to know. That's an improvement is good.
I will pass in
Okay.
hoping that John passes as well, and I might get another clue here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to pass too. I'm not really sure where it could have been just a handful of carries last year for nothing. So an improvement of 1.5 yards per carry could be on 3 carries from last year to 6 carries this year, or this guy could be a workhorse that's really improving on a 300-yard, 150-yard carries to 200, to possibly 200 carries this year. So I'm going to pass right now until I hear a little bit more.
Okay. That's an interesting thought process there. This player is currently 33rd in scoring, the 33rd top scoring player at his position in PPR scoring thus far this season.
I'll pass again. I don't like that one as much as that first one.
Mm-hmm.
33rd. That's again, that's average. Yeah, it's just average. There's nothing special. I'm not at 1.5 and he's 33rd. That means he was. I think this player is young, but obviously to make a big increase like that, young but not but active, young and active, a couple years in the league. So I'm going to pass again.
Okay. The last one that you guys are going to get. This player is on pace for 32 less receptions than last season.
I'm going to swipe left.
You're going to swipe left. You don't want this player.
Hold on.
I just want to make sure. I'm curious to see, and I'll ask you guys after, but I'm curious if you guys are thinking that this is a running back or a wide receiver. With
okay, so I have a question. I want you to repeat the 3 clues that you've given so far.
Certainly.
So 1.4 yards per carry higher.
More than last season. Is currently the 33rd top scoring player at his position in PPR scoring.
Okay.
And he is on pace for 32 less receptions than last season.
All right, I have to think about this for a
I
second.
am so glad that I'm giving you like a little bit of a headache here.
Am I on the I'm the one who has the clock per se here, correct? So I can think about this for a minute. I know I'm not going to think about it for a long time, James.
Oh, no, absolutely. I didn't want you thinking that there's a shot clock or something that if you don't make a decision by this time, you're out of time and it just passes you. You're on the button. So you definitely think about it. And I am curious though, John,
okay.
I'm going to ask you. Oh, okay. Brian's.
Yeah. Ask a question.
John, I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on this? As far as let me just ask you this. Do you have any idea on whether or not this is a running back or a wide receiver?
I think it's a running back. I 100% think it's a running back, and I think it's due to an injury that the situation that it's in right now. So that's what's going through my head. That so far I had a pretty good year, got hurt, and his stats are falling by 30 some receptions because he's not playing right now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, so I'm really glad that you asked that question to John, and that John gave that response, because if I take, okay, so here's the thing. If I take that approach to this, and I think it's a running back too.
Okay.
But I don't but I don't know who necessarily. But if I take that, so here's the problem for me. Okay, John, I'm really glad you said that, man, because if this is
think it totally differently.
So if this is an injured running back, and the stats are going to be
I think I know who you guys are thinking now. Okay.
Oh my God! If I get him, I'm gonna. This will be the best thing ever.
So here's the deal: I have to swipe right because if it is him, I can live. This is me. This is Brian Harr we're talking about. Okay, I can live with getting some scrub and having to work the waiver wire down the line. Okay. But if I miss out on Saquon Barkley because I've been tricked by you, James, like I tricked you on Jameis Winston, I will not be able to live with myself. So I am going to swipe right and take the chance that this could possibly be Saquon Barkley. And if it's not, then I'll be interested to hear who it is.
Damn it, John. I hate you.
Yes!
Right? I'm never asking you another question again. Brian, I think was going to pass. I just wanted to know receiver or running back. But no, I think it's a running back who's hurt.
I don't my big mouth.
It is Saquon Barkley.
Oh
I wanted Brian in his Penn State. He's wearing his Penn State zip-up sweater right now. I wanted him to pass on Saquon Barkley so bad. John, you could have had him. You would have had Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley.
You would have seen me cry.
Oh my gosh, John, what you're killing me here. All right.
John, you have become one of my favorite people in this community.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Already, but now instantaneously it's just shot to a whole nother level.
Man, I was this close, Brian. I was this close to getting you to say you did not want Saquon Barkley on your team.
You were.
This is my first Tinder flex, and I kind of blew it. I gave, I should wait for my turn before I.
No, I shouldn't ask any questions. That's what should happen. It's not my first go around, and I'm sitting here playing. I never thought you'd put that together. That was very good, John. That you kind of thought about him. The reception stat was the one that I was going to change because I really felt like people were going to start thinking Ronald Jones, just because the yards per carry increase and the 33rd. I kind of felt like that was kind of in range for him, but
it didn't sound right. Didn't sound anything like Ronald Jones when you said less than 30 receptions less than he had last year.
Exactly. Which was the one stat I was thinking about changing, but I thought, no, I'll leave it on there to give him a fighting chance. And John, you did it. All right. Well, you know what? Brian, go ahead with your player. You got Saquon on your roster now, and I don't like it one bit. One's got Saquon, one's got OBJ, and I'm sitting here with Jameis freaking Winston. So I think I'm losing. I'm pretty sure I'm losing here. Oh, all right, Brian.
Oh man. All right. So this player, in college, his high for receptions was 69 catches in a season.
I'm gonna pass. It's 69 receptions in a season. It's pretty good for college. It's it's okay, but I'm gonna need more information on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just gives us a snapshot of one season in college, and we don't even know how long ago that was. So I think I'll have to pass too for some more information, unfortunately.
Next clue, this player had a breakout age of 19.4.
I'm going to swipe right.
I hate you. Why do you do this? I'm never going to get a player.
I know
Jameis Winston. Who is it? You know who it is? I would like to hear you.
Can I guess right now or no?
Yeah, go ahead and guess.
Juju?
It is not Juju Smith-Schuster. But you do get the wide receiver 1 overall currently for the 2019 season, Chris Godwin.
Oh, I own him everywhere. This is great. Outstanding.
And I'm very excited because we've just spent the last 10 minutes of this podcast talking about Penn State players, and that makes me very happy.
Okay, so the value for Chris Godwin right now is through the freaking roof. So obviously you'd want him rostered, and nothing for that. That would be the only reason why I'd want him rostered. I think his numbers are going to come plummeting back down to earth.
They kind of have
soon
to.
Here.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way he can live up to it. If he does, I mean, this guy is gold at every roster I have. But I honestly thought it was Juju. Any player that has a breakout age of 19 years old, I'm going to take no matter what, especially in Dynasty. It's a kind of a no-brainer to have a guy that young at a breakout age in professional football to pass on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everything you said is true.
So James, I have a question for you about that. And so when you say that Chris Godwin is going to come crashing back down to earth, what realistically do you expect from him moving forward? I mean, do you think he is the top wide receiver option in this offense? I know you don't like Jameis. You don't. You think it's Mike Evans still?
I do.
Okay.
And I think I think what's happening right now is we're seeing that correction. I mean, they're taking advantage of matchups, and the matchups right now are, heavily slated to Mike Evans' side of the field. So Chris Godwin is getting some of the easier matchups. And we saw that, it happened in Pittsburgh with Antonio Brown was there, and Juju kind of was getting the now I think Juju's a better talent than Godwin, so I think he can win, against better coverage. Chris Godwin to me he's a prime breakout candidate. He looks good. He looks the part, but I still think Mike Evans is the wide receiver one there. And I think we're going to start seeing that because I think coverages are going to start becoming a little bit more equal as far as, they're not going to be able to shift the safety over the top to Evans. They're not going to be able to pay, closer attention to him when Chris Godwin's putting up these numbers. So I expect Mike Evans to be the number one wide receiver there moving forward, but it is something interesting to monitor. That's for sure. I know a lot of people are very high on Chris Godwin. We're coming into the year and he's paying off in spades. So, good on them.
Do you think this could be a scenario kind of like what happened in Pittsburgh last year, where it's a 1A, 1B, where Godwin benefits from the coverage that Mike Evans draws, and they can both put up elite fantasy stats?
If I had any confidence in Jameis Winston, like I do in Big Ben, then yes. But I don't.
Okay.
I just don't. I think there are going to be games when they can, but consistently, I don't see it. Not like that Pittsburgh offense was consistently last year, being able to provide fantasy stats for both those guys, plus Vance McDonald on some weeks. So, and the running game. I mean, that was insane. So, I don't know that I trust Jameis that much.
Jameis throws to the end zone a lot more than most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'd rather have a guy who just tries to get it in the end zone more than guys who try to spread it around the field and be cute about stuff. So, I mean, I think Godwin's going to get a lot more red zone targets because Jameis loves throwing to the end zone. So
yeah, the problem with that though, John, is that he throws a lot of interceptions. Even last week, he had 2 that were called back because of penalties. So, and one of the penalties shouldn't have happened, and none of them were like secondary penalties that actually made a difference on the interception. So he really got bailed out twice last week, and he just throws a lot of interceptions in general. And I think it's that gunslinger mentality, always going for the end zone, always going for the throw type thing. So while that's good, yeah, if I have a wide receiver, I want him targeted in the end zone a lot. I get your point there, and I agree with that. I will say, however, sometimes it's forced, and that's the worst case scenarios because now you're missing out on receptions and yards that could get you down to the red zone before you get those end zone targets. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Again, a lot's tied to Jameis Winston right now, and we'll see kind of how Tampa Bay feels moving forward. It's kind of a weekly thing here. A couple weeks ago, Jameis Winston was riding high, and then last week against New Orleans, I think he put up a dud and did not look good at all. So it'll be interesting to kind of see if he can kind of regain his composure that he had, week 3 and week 4, or whether or not this is kind of the standard. This inconsistent Jameis.
If we're in a 4-point passing league right now, you have Jameis, and I'm killing it right now. And there's my roster. So
yeah, well, you know what? You could have had the Jameis Winston, Chris Godwin combo, and I blocked you on it. So if there's one thing I can take pride in, it's the fact that you don't have that, buddy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey guys, I have Saquon Barkley.
Oh my God. Okay, John, you're up next, right? It's on you. Throw out some stats, man. Golly.
All right. This is one of 3 players in this franchise's history to be drafted as a quarterback in the first round. One of 3 players in the entire franchise's history to be drafted as a quarterback in the first round.
I think I already know who this is. And just knowing you, John, it's such a fitting, like you're just going to be taking pot shots this entire time. So I'm already going to swipe left. I do not want anything to do with this player. I'm going to leave it to Brian.
Wow.
So I'm going to go ahead and pass. Since James is already out, I'd like to hear another clue, please.
All right. Clue number 2. This quarterback has thrown for over 20,000 yards and 125 touchdowns. And although he runs a 4.65 40-yard dash, he's only rushed for 6 touchdowns so far in his career.
Could you please repeat that?
This quarterback has thrown for over 20,000 yards and 125 touchdowns already. And although he runs a 4.65 40-yard dash, he only rushed for 6 touchdowns so far in his career. A lot of potential.
Okay, so again, because James is already out, I'm going to take advantage of that and hear another clue.
One more clue. Converted from wide receiver to quarterback in college, was drafted in the first round after only 1.5 years of starts as a quarterback.
I'm going to swipe left.
All right, John, who are you stuck with, a quarterback here?
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I had thought initially this was going to be Mitch Trubisky, but then I heard the stats and I'm going, this is obviously not Trubisky, but yeah, good. All right. Well, at least you got one turd on your roster, John.
I got it. Yeah, it's super high. My last clue would have been he's got a super hot wife and is playing for a second team right now. It would have been a dead giveaway, but
well, he's better than Mariota, and that'll prove soon enough. That'll prove to be the case. So, so all right, guys, I'm up here next, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few here so you guys can kind of determine. So this player has tied his career high in passing touchdowns this season through week 5.
I'll swipe right.
You're going to swipe right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Do you guys have any guesses on who this could be yet? Do you want to hear the other clues?
Yeah. Yeah,
of course.
Swipe right because I don't think it's who I thought it was, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm good with it. I need a quarterback. I got to plug the roster.
This player's team has scored a low point total on the season of 24 points through week 5. And the third clue, this player is currently the 23rd highest scoring player at the quarterback position. You guys have any guesses on who this might be?
Is it Brissett?
It is not Jacoby Brissett. What about you, John? You got a guess? Brissett's a good guess, though. Now that I think about it, man,
he's got a lot of touchdowns. He's got like 10 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions.
I might be happy. I might be really happy with this.
Jeez. I don't know. I'm not.
All right, I'm going to give you another clue here to see if you guys can guess. This player is currently on his 2nd NFL team. And came from a very small college, small school.
Is it Duck? No, it's not Duck. Second.
All right, guys, here it is.
I don't know who.
Brian, you have just won Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Is your quarterback.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hey,
not bad, right?
Okay, so my team takes after their general manager. I have a good-looking squad. Jimmy GQ and Saquon, man, and me. I mean, this is like we're going to do a magazine shoot next week. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh my God. Here we go. I'm
telling you.
I don't know who's more handsome.
I'm sitting over here eating W's. All right. Well, I tell you what, guys, we only we only prepared 3 players each, but I've got an extra one, so I'd like to go ahead and go with this bonus player, if you guys don't mind. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, because I did a few here, so I got a couple extras. So, all right, first off, this player has a career 84.1 quarterback rating. Brian, it's on you first.
That is not terrible. It's not great. I'm gonna pass. Hoping to get another clue.
John, it's on you.
Man, I need a quarterback, but I still want to. I don't want to jump right into one because I only got Tannehill right now. So I'm going to pass.
This player has an NFL career 60.3 completion percentage in the NFL.
Oh. 60.3. You know what? I'm going to swipe left. I need a quarterback that's a little bit more accurate than that.
Okay, so he's bowing out, John. So you get a free clue here, or you can swipe right if you already hear something that you like, or swipe left and stick me with him.
I got a feeling this guy throws a lot of passes. So I'm going to swipe right.
Okay.
I have a feeling this is somebody who throws a lot of passes.
I'm going to give you one last clue here, okay? And you've already got him, John. I'm going to give you guys one last clue to see if you can guess. This player has a career 4.5 touchdown percentage and a career 3.0 interception percentage.
I was under the impression it was. Can I guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was under the impression it was Philip Rivers, but I just.
I have no idea who it is.
This player has thrown for over 50,000 passing yards.
Whoa!
362 touchdowns and 241 interceptions. Anyone got a clue?
I know. Yeah, I know who it is. I know who it is now. I think maybe.
Maybe. What's your guess?
Is it Eli?
John got himself a quarterback. He got Eli Manning on his roster. So very, very nice. That one's interesting just because his career stats are
that's actually a really good one. That's a really, really good one.
Yeah. He's tough to gauge just because, again, you kind of look at his career stats and he's kind of tough to.
I was afraid that was going to happen. I'm like, this has got to be somebody who throws a lot. He's got a lot of good stats. Who's, maybe a couple more years in the league that's going to, keep. I thought it was Philip Rivers, but I was kind of close by stat wise, but no, I got Eli. Thanks.
Yeah, no, you did a good job of narrowing it down to a guy who had a high pass volume, so that was good. Guys, we still got time. Would you mind if I did one more?
Absolutely. No, let's go. Keep it going.
Let's keep rolling these out. Okay, so let's go with the first one for this player. This player is 26 years old and is playing on the same team that drafted him originally.
So, John, you can do this one first because I was first on the last one.
Yeah, good call, Brian.
It's a good sign when somebody's on a team for 4 years after their rookie deal, 4 maybe 5 years on the same team. That means they're producing. But I don't want to jump in with both feet, but I think this is a producer. I think this is somebody that I want on my team. But I'm gonna pass for right now, just to get more clues.
Okay. Brian, what about you? Are you gonna allow him to get more clues here?
I don't really want him to get any more, but I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay.
Okay. So, 26-year-old who's on the same team as he's been on since he was drafted. So if he's 26, he picked up the option, or he's on a second contract. Likely. You know what? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm afraid if I give John another clue, then he's gonna.
That's interesting.
Soak him up.
He also might be gun shy after getting Eli Manning last round. So it'll be interesting to see if John gets gun shy or not.
This is funny because it's only his second contract. Some guys, it takes them a year, 2, 3 years to kind of finally pan out, and maybe they said, "Hey, we got some of this guy. Let's give him another 1-year deal." So I don't know. This is a little funny for me.
All right, I'll take the chance and hear another clue.
Okay. This player, to this point of his career, has 15 total touchdowns.
15 and 5.
Including this year.
15 touchdowns, and I'm going to say 4 or 5 years. That's 3 a year. This sounds like a player that's more of a utility type than a. This is total touchdowns or just passing or just receiving?
This is total touchdowns. This player has 15 total touchdowns to this point of his career.
Man, either this guy blossomed late or late breakout age, or I'm gonna I don't think I'm gonna. No, I'll pass.
You're going to pass for another stat. Okay. Brian, what about you? Swipe right to take them, swipe left to leave them, or pass?
Oh boy. I guess I'll pass. I kind of want to. I
Okay.
kind of want to take them. I kind of want to take them. But I guess I'll pass just to hear another one here.
Okay, it's interesting the what you guys are coming away with here on this. I'm wondering. I mean, your thought processes are interesting. So here's the last one. This player has 1,940 career receiving yards to this point of his career. John, basically at this point, you can swipe right to take them or swipe left to leave them, and then Brian's got to make the same decision.
I'm gonna swipe left.
You swipe left, you're going to leave this player.
I'm gonna leave.
All right, Brian, it's up to you now. Swipe right to take them, swipe left to stick them to me.
I'll go ahead and swipe right. Just because I think, I've been thinking about it all 3 times, so I'll swipe right and see what I get.
Does anybody have any guesses?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I really don't.
This one is really interesting. And Brian, your team is stacked because you just landed Cooper Kupp, who was 24 when he came into the league. So that's only 3 seasons worth of stats.
I knew it.
15 touchdowns in 3 years, 1,940 yards receiving in 2.5 years, because that's counting this year. So, yeah, that was the interesting part. That's why I started with the age, because sometimes in Dynasty we look at that age and that's so important to us and we make assumptions based on it. And I think that was what I would have done too. I would have thought the same thing as John did.
I knew it. I felt like this is one of those like TV shows where you stick your hand in a box and you don't know what's in there and you try to feel around and guess what's going on. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I totally felt like that this is a trick question, like somebody who had a late breakout age or didn't produce for a while and maybe had one good season so far. So there was a lot of intangibles here that I didn't really want to touch, but that's how you get burned, I guess.
That's the interesting thing is that's what we have to do, right? I mean, that's kind of where we're at here. So, that's interesting. I do got some more, guys. Are we ready for another one?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, so let's just put this out there, James. Thank you for the hard work tonight and getting all these extra players for Tinderflex, because I'm enjoying. I could do this for hours. This is a blast.
Awesome. And I hope our listeners are enjoying it too. I hope that's something that they do enjoy. We've normally get really good feedback on these episodes, so I'm just happy that I pretty much have these ready, so that way if anyone ever says, "Hey, let's record Tinderflex this week," I'm already ready. So I'm excited for this one. Now, this one is going to be very interesting because this one, gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, I only provided college stats for. So good luck.
Ooh, all right.
Ouch.
Okay. So Brian, this player started 3 seasons at his school and threw 52 touchdown passes to 29 interceptions.
Okay. So I like that. I like the 52 touchdowns anyways. But I'm wondering if this is like an air raid offense that might not translate. So I'm going to pass to hopefully hear another clue.
I'm going to pass too. If this is somebody who had a short, 52 touchdowns isn't crazy impressive, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's. I don't know if it was in 2 years, 3 years, or this guy was I can't be a 4-year starter if they only threw 50 touchdown passes. So I'm gonna pass.
Okay. The next stat I have for you, gentlemen, this player posted a 59.9% completion percentage in college.
I'm going to pass again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting, John.
59% is that's not crazy good either. That's either he did not too well one year and kind of made up for it later, or he had one year that was average at best. So I'm going to pass again.
Pass again. Okay, here we go. The last one, gentlemen. This player had a 122.9 QB rating for his college career.
Ooh.
With that completion percentage. So, Brian, you could swipe right to take them, you could swipe left to leave them, and then leave the decision to John.
That's a pretty good QBR. All right, so here's my thing. Okay, if we're looking at roster construction, so I already have Jimmy GQ at quarterback. This is obviously a quarterback. I do feel like this is an air raid type offense in college. But I'm willing to take the chance, I guess, and hope that it's a guy that I can at least plug in my super flex spot. So I'm going to swipe right.
Okay, interesting, John. If he had swiped left, would you have taken this guy?
When you said the QBR, that's all of a sudden it turns into even. I think it was somebody who started out bad and got real good as later in college. So it's a really good QBR. I was kind of I was aggressive early on, then I became passive, and this is what you get when you become passive. I think you lose a pretty good player. I think this is somebody who's going to be a pretty good quarterback.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what you guys think after I reveal the name, because Brian, you just won the apple of my eye. Daniel Jones is your quarterback.
Cool.
So not an NFL, not a high rate, an NFL, type of high volume passing offense or an air raid offense. However, they did throw it a decent amount because Duke just isn't really a football school. So
right.
Really interesting the conclusions you guys came to with that. Not a very good completion percentage in college, which is interesting, but I think I was one of those people who, when I watched the tape, I saw an offensive line that was terrible, wide receivers that were not good for the most part. So seeing him flourish in the NFL has been pretty cool. John, would you have been happy if you had gotten Daniel Jones?
Yes, I would have been happy with Daniel Jones. Obviously he's not the apple of my eye like he is yours, but I would have been happy to get Daniel Jones. I think the guy, I feel bad what he went through draft day, so far in his career. He had to shut a lot of people up, and he proved it on the field that he could be a quarterback. He seems to be better than Eli Manning. And I'm looking forward to that kid's future. I'm really happy with what he's got. When Saquon comes back, offense can be a little bit easier for him. I think that I'd be very happy with Daniel Jones. Yes.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, guys. So I do have one other one that I'm waiting here. We've got enough time for one more. What do you guys say? One more here before we sign off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Let's do one more here. So, all right. This start with the first stat here. This player just turned 24 years old and has 5 career receiving touchdowns. John, we'll go ahead and start with you since I believe Brian started it off last time, right?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Okay.
24 years old and 5 touchdowns. That could be a lot. That could be a lot of people. I mean, this could be a tight end. This could be a receiver. This could be a running back. It's kind of vague, so I'm going to pass for right now.
Okay. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I'm intrigued here. Again, John, I kind of like the way you're thinking there. Maybe this could be a tight end. Or maybe this could be a receiver who, had an injury in year one, or got off to a slow, had a kind of a slow rookie year. I need to hear another clue as well. I'm going to pass. But that's an interesting. I'm intrigued a little bit here.
Okay. So this player was in the top 14th percentile in burst score, top 27th percentile in agility score, and top 19th percentile in catch radius coming into the league.
So he's. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to give John any more clues. I have some. It's all you, big guy.
You got some thoughts up there. Okay.
I do.
Okay, John.
Can you repeat
the first on up there?
Can you repeat the first stat one more time?
The first stat. Yeah, give me 1 second here. I got to go back to that one. This player has 5 total touchdowns in his 3-year career.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still thinking this is going to be a tight end, and there could be a lot of production from tight ends besides just touchdowns. So, man, but it could be just a guy that's a blocking tight end that gets 5 touchdowns. I don't know why I'm stuck on tight end here. It doesn't seem like a lot of touchdowns for any other position. So that's why I'm narrowing it down to the tight end position. I feel like I'm rat holing myself on accident. This could be a bad decision. But I don't want to pass, but I just don't think this is enough information for me to commit to somebody. So I'm going to hand a meatball over here and pass again.
All right, Brian, you said you were intrigued last time. I had some thoughts going on, so let's see.
Yeah, I have an idea on this player. I have a guess on this player. And if my guess is correct, and I don't know if it is or not, but here's my thinking here. So read this clue again that you just read.
The second clue. Okay.
So burst score.
Yep. This player was in the top 14th percentile of burst score, top 27th percentile in agility score, and top 19th percentile in catch radius.
Okay, so he's explosive. He's long. So I'm off of tight end here. I think I'm back. I'm back more to back to wide receiver here. So I'm thinking. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking tall, lean, explosive, and fast. As far as a wide receiver and a young, 24 years old. So you're talking about maybe a second or third year player, 5 touchdowns, maybe didn't produce in the first year or two, depending on. I'm not sure. So here's the deal. I might get stuck with somebody here, but if this is if this is the guy that I think it is, I'm going to be really happy. So I'm swiping right.
You're swiping right. Okay.
I'm going to swipe right on this one. Yep.
Here. I'm going to give you the last clue here, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, this player had 1,442 receiving yards as a wide receiver in college. Does that change your guess any, Brian, on who it might be?
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't know his stats specifically, but I think I have a really good guess on this one.
John, do you have any guess on who this might be?
1,000 yards in college. Someone that's explosive. That someone you're describing. It's lengthy and fast and a huge catch radius. I would expect to have more than 5 touchdowns. So I think it's a burner. Someone who runs on the field, but I don't know if they have a drop problem or if they just don't get targeted on a bad offense, or there's somebody who is someone who just is being misused.
Interesting. Okay. Well, so Brian, what's your guess?
Yeah. So does this player have a children's song parody?
I don't believe so. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. See, that's so I was incorrect in my guess because I was thinking this could be DJ Chark.
That's an interesting guess. Yeah, that's an interesting guess. It is not DJ Chark, however. You did, however, when Ricky Seals-Jones, tight end for the Cleveland
I
Browns.
knew it.
John. Good. That was nice,
which is interesting because he played wide receiver at Texas A&M.
Yep.
So I figured that stat might throw people off to think it's a wide receiver at the end, but at the same time, John was right. Initially, it was a tight end that we had here, and so I don't really know what to make out of Ricky Seals-Jones. He's one of those guys that came into the league, and I was hyped about. I think a lot of people were, and then he just didn't seem to get used very much. And now he's on Cleveland, and it seems like they're using him while Njoku's out, and he seems like he's a pretty good fit if that offense can do anything. He might actually put up some points. So an interesting player. I don't know that I'd be totally disappointed. I obviously wouldn't be jumping for joy, but
that's a position now that I just feel like it's in the NFL. There, everybody wants the fast, tall, lengthy player at tight end, and that as you see in like guys like Mike Gesicki, that's not panning out. And Noah Fant is not. He's not coming out like everybody expected right away. I think that this is a game where you need to find someone who is. Who could do all position. You need to find a tight end who could block and play their position and has all the metrics to do those kind of things. It's hard to find those guys, and it's they're like a diamond in the rough, and everybody's just kind of using the metrics instead of watching film and seeing how these guys are on the field as far as like an extra, because they have to learn the offensive line, they have to learn the receiver route tree, and they have to learn how to block on the second and third level better than receivers do. I just think that this turned into a metrics game for tight ends, and you have to be a well-rounded player to be a tight end. You just can't be a freak. So that's just how I feel.
No, I agree with you. I think you're right on with that. I just think that Ricky Seals-Jones is a guy who played wide receiver in college, could line up at the receiver position, and for some of these Arizona teams that he played on, like I feel like he would have been a better pass catching option than some of the guys they had. He was there before Kirk was there, and so I just feel like they could have utilized him better. And so I'm interested to see kind of how he gets utilized in Cleveland. Doesn't look like Antonio Callaway is going to get used after last week. He looked lost, like a lost puppy out on the field. He didn't even know where to line up. It was bad. So yeah, I think with the Higgins injury, Seals-Jones might end up lining up in the slot, on some 3-4 wide receiver sets. So it'll be something to monitor for sure. But all right, guys. So we're about to wrap it up. Is there anything else that you guys have to add that you want to relay to our listeners here?
Thanks for putting all this together, James. This is a great show. I could do this all day long. I know we only have limited time, but yeah, these games like this are why we play fantasy football. These are when you're guessing all the information you have in your head, and you could be anybody in the NFL, all 32 teams, any position on offense. This is why we love fantasy football, for these kind of Tinder Flex games. This is great today.
Yeah, I was totally stoked when we in the group chat earlier, we're talking about what we were going to do, and Tinder Flex came up. I was really excited. I've listened to before I was fortunate enough to become a part of the show. I've listened to this show for a long time, and I've listened to the Tinder Flex episodes, and they're always extremely entertaining, and hopefully the listeners feel that way about this one too. But it's super fun to be a part of this and a part of this particular show, the Tinder Flex episodes, because they really are a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun guessing these players and trying to put a roster together with such limited information. It's a hoot. So hopefully, again, the listeners enjoyed this. I certainly did. Sounds like John did. And James, I know you always enjoy this type of show too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. A little less so this time, just because you guys whooped up on me, man. It was your first time playing Tinder Flex. I thought, I'm going to take it easy on the boys. I'm not going to go too hard. And that was a mistake, because even when I turned it up, it wasn't enough, man. You guys rostered some real nice players. I got Jameis Winston, and that's pretty much all that needs to be said. So, yeah, so we can kind of end it there. Want to thank you, our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Superflex Show. Also follow Brian Haar at Brian Haar FF. Also make sure you're following John McGlynn at John McGlynn 75. You can follow me at _James the Brain. Also, make sure that you are listening to us and subscribe to the podcast. You can do that on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. You can find us at dynastyleaguefootball.com as part of the TLF family of podcasts. Make sure that you rate and review as well. That really helps us. It goes a long way into us improving our product and letting us know what you think and what we should be bringing back as well. So that's always huge. Thank you to The Addiction for the use of the thank you to Heart and Soul Radio rather for the use of the song The Addiction. And until next time, stay sexy and super flexy.